rounds, I think it's good to have the judges come and give us some quick feedback on what we did well, places we can improve on. Because again, he said we always attempt to make this a learning experience for all teams. So I will invite David to kick off with a few comments and feedback to the teams.
One of the key findings or one of the key recommendations was some presenters had very many unnecessary slides. I think from my own personal view would be focus mainly on evaluation, the assumptions, the risks and the financial analysis and the projections. I don't think we need to know that KCB is the biggest bank in East Africa. ETC has so many branches, because that's information that is out there. Try and give us something we don't know. Some presenters were not looking to the audience, they were just reading directly from the laptop. This looks like you don't know your material or your stuff thoroughly. But in as much as it would appear that each person is specializing on a particular role, I think it's also important that every team member has a thorough understanding of the company that they're analyzing, including the industry. Then I think it is important to have a very nice starting summary, probably with just a recommendation and the key findings as a summary, so that as a judge you start putting things into context. And finally, you must have a thorough understanding of the industry that you're analyzing. In this case, you should have a thorough understanding of the bank, how really a bank works, so that you avoid being an investment reporter. Remember, you're doing analysis. So if you talk about macroeconomic and say GDP will grow by this much, so what? Should be able to explain how it affects the bank and its numbers. Understand how this variable affects the other variable, which affects another variable. That's key, because some of the presenters didn't quite understand how a bank really works in terms of the numbers.
I will invite Steve from the other room to also just give us some feedback and insight and recommendations on what we should do to improve our presentations.
I think all in all, you had a very engaging morning, very good presentations from the various teams. Just want to congratulate you on that. A few things that you can do to try and improve the presentation, especially for the ones who will go ahead in the afternoon and also for the regional competition. What judges look for is your understanding of the investment process, conviction in your recommendation, and sincerity in what you present. So I think the first thing, overall in terms of a suggestion is that try and relax as you present. Yes, the judges may be quite knowledgeable about the matter at hand, but you're competing with similar competitors who probably do not have an understanding of the industry as the judges. So just relax. We had a few presentations where people sort of midway panicked, and it came through quite clearly. Another thing is on the presentations, make them simple. Diagrams are better. There's something called death by PowerPoint, where you have too many words and narratives, like you want to read off the presentation. As a judge, the slides are going very fast, so you can't read everything. So just have either block numbers, very big numbers, or graphs, or pictures. They are much better as opposed to having a lot of narratives. As he said, at the beginning, have your recommendations very clearly, so that in case time runs out before you finish your presentation, at least you've been able to highlight what your recommendation was. Then pace your presentation. I know you have 10 minutes, but pick the key highlights. Some of the presenters were really rushing through till they were running out of breath. Just tell very clearly that this person is now struggling. Should you give them a glass of water? So just pace yourself. If you do practice and the slides are too many, reduce them so that when you're presenting, you look confident and you're not rushing through the presentation. There was a presentation on a slide all of you had on risk. It was good, mentioned several risks. Some of them, I think from my perspective, the reason why the bank is in the industry, interest rate risk is why a bank is doing business. If they're able to manage it well, they'll be able to do very well. It would be better if you're able to link the risk to your valuation. So you'd rather have two risks that you say our risk to the valuation is this and this, and if this were to happen, our valuation will still be impacted negatively, either fall into this, and we may have to change our recommendation, or we still feel comfortable about our recommendation. So just link the two between the risk and your valuation, so it's very clear. Not just going to the company accounts and picking the risks that they've listed there and regurgitating. On the issue of sincerity, it's key, it's very important. If you don't know something, say you don't know. Don't try and create a story from thin air. It will come out very clearly. You're trying to bullshit your way, and it will be picked out. And unfortunately, being a CFA challenge, that is taken very seriously in terms of integrity. It will, in fact, impact your grading very severely. So if you do not understand, if you ask a question you do not understand, don't try and pick a number from thin air and try to justify it. Just be sincere. Then, again, on the issue of confidence, in case you run out of time, don't let that discourage you. I think there's a team that they ran out of time, and one of the team members, we just see in her face, I think she blew a bit of air from the mouth. Now we are done, we are finished. You've run out of time, it has happened, but you still have a lot that can work for you. So compose yourself, and now go to the question and answer session and answer the questions confidently. Don't let the fact that you've run out of time discourage you from the next session, because you can just now mess yourself when you're answering questions because you're really discouraged. Still be confident. You can still be able to pick up even if time has run out. Then we're required to grade you on team dynamics. Yeah. So as a team, be as a unit. Present together. When somebody has done something that probably the team does not agree with, let it slide. Sometimes somebody might want to measure something in the background and it really disorients someone as they are presenting, and then after that, it goes downhill. There's someone who had started very well, then I think somebody made a noise, some sound, either agreeing or disagreeing to something in the background, and after that it was very obvious, and the person presenting now got a bit confused. He's one and kept looking back to the team members, am I saying the right thing? Just let the person present. If they say something wrong, body language, just pick up. It's okay. Let it slide so that you don't confuse the person presenting. And with that, I think generally, good presentations all in all. Be confident, be sincere, and be convicted of what you're presenting. But do not pick numbers off the air. If you do not know, just mention that you do not know. I think with that, we're wishing the teams that have qualified all the best in the afternoon, and I hope we'll have engaging presentations as we had today morning. Thank you so much.
So I'll invite Eleanor. She's the president of the CFA Society East Africa, but also a judge at the regional stage. So she'll give us insights on what she saw and possibly recommendations on what to get ready for at the regional level. Eleanor, welcome.
Last year, I was able to become a judge at the global finals in Chicago, and the level of competitions was crazy. So you really need to be ready for questions that will really throw you off, like your numbers, the numbers that you put up there. If you're going to say that we expect a growth rate of 6%, be able to justify the breakdown. Why did you use this market risk premium? Why not this one? Why did you choose to use 8 years, not 10 years? Why did you use, all those numbers? Why did you use these numbers from Bloomberg? Why didn't you do your own regression analysis? So there will be all sorts of questions which you're asked and you are expected to respond. The one thing that I saw in our room is that the answering of questions, people went into too much detail. What you need to do is just reduce not everyone in the room has to answer the question which has been asked, because you'll have somebody saying, nah, I give my answer, and then somebody, in addition to that, and then in addition to that, and then in addition to that, then 5 people have answered the question, and it doesn't give a very good understanding. From the point of view of the judges, we would be able to see that, okay, these people have a very good understanding because we've asked them enough questions to be able to see that they had a good understanding of the company, okay? And then in terms of presentation, just a few things I noted. Please avoid standing in front of the presentation because we can't tell you to move. So if you come in front of the presentation like this, we can't see the numbers that you're talking about. You are able to see from the laptop or remember from memory, but if you stand in front of the presentation, we can't be able to see what the numbers are. And then before you start your presentation, just try and relax. Try and breathe in, breathe out. The timer only starts when you say your first word. It doesn't start when you get onto the stage. So when you get onto the stage, you can do a few breathing exercises, relax. The time when you start saying, my name is, or whatever, that's when the timer starts. So just relax, get your composure, and then start the presentation. It makes a very big difference. And then there's too much information on the slides that we're seeing. Please avoid, you're going to make people start reading the presentation, noticing maybe, you've written too much. It also makes you nervous because you're trying to remember what did you write on the slides. If possible, as Steve has said, try use graphs as much as possible. And also for the graphs, use the right kind of graphs, okay? You don't use a pie chart when you could have used a bar graph. They give sort of different information for you to understand the information that is put out there. Like there's a team which was using kind of like a pie chart of sorts, but it's a comparative study. You can't understand as well if it was a bar graph and, it would show the different numbers. And then in terms of also presentation, please avoid giving your back to the audience like that. You're trying to look at the information which is on the slides, and then you're giving the audience your back. Please avoid doing that. And avoid playing with the microphone and dancing, okay? We are not rappers, so we don't hold our mics like this. So try and hold your mic properly, okay? And then also, avoid crowding in a corner, like you're trying to hide away from the judges. Spread out if possible so you can have some presenters on that side and then some presenters on this side. And then just be comfortable, just be at ease. Find that comfort level, And then slow down when speaking. Sometimes you become very nervous and then you realize you're speaking too fast. Just try and slow down a bit. I know that the time is running out, but that also goes to show that you really need to prepare yourself before you come and give the presentation. Because if you haven't timed yourself, then you will find yourself rushing towards the end. And probably it was critical information which would have given the judges knowledge that you know your stuff. And then please always make introductions when you get onto the stage, just short introductions. And check out for spelling errors on your slides. If you have spelling errors on your slides, somebody will start wondering, did they actually do a very thorough analysis on their company? So just try and check on that. And then one thing that I really noticed is that you should be able to back all your recommendations. If you're saying, do not buy this, or you're saying hold, please have the information that supports that recommendation. Okay? Don't be saying hold, yet you're showing us a 60% upside. That doesn't tally. Okay? Also, please check through your models. Check for bugs. If you're saying that you expect this company to make a loss, then we should all be getting out of that company. So you should be able to say, yeah, this company is going to make a loss, and these are the reasons why we think that the company will make a loss. Okay, so that means you really need to go through your model and understand it. Okay, so I know at this point you will not be able to really change your model or change your report, which has already gone out to be graded. But just try and be convicted about your recommendation. If you're saying sell, please don't start, being wishy-washy about your recommendation. If you're saying sell, these are the reasons you should sell. Okay. So if somebody asks you, you've told me this is a buy, give me 3 reasons why we should buy this stock. You should be able to say blah, 1, 2, 3. Okay? Yeah. Thank you very much. And all the best to all the teams. I really enjoyed the presentations. I think the quality of work was good. And all the best to the teams that are going forward in the afternoon.
So I should announce. Okay. So for room number 1, so for the teams that presented upstairs, team number 6, and in order is team number 1 is number 1. So team number 6, yeah. So team number 6 is or the one that came in number 6, front number 6, team L. Number 5, team H. Number 4, team A. Number 3, team F. Number 2, team D. And then number 1 was team J. So as we had discussed in the morning, from the first room, we'll have the top 2 teams proceeding, and from the scores, it will be team J and team D that will be proceeding to the finals. For the second room, which presented just right opposite the ballroom, the one that scored number 6 was team M. Number 5, team I. Number 4, team E. Number 3, team G. Number 2, team K. And the last one in room number 1 was team B. So in the afternoon, we'll be seeing presentations from team B and team K. So thank you all for the presentations in the morning.